Most prominently, these guys try and hit up your friendly neighborhood third world countries such as Vietnam, Cambodia, and Thailand, as well as the fest that is the Balkans and Eastern Europe due to their lower living standards and desperation of many to get out.
Let's call them incel YouTubers reacting to my videos and saying that, oh, look at this guy. He comes to Eastern Europe and the girls are only with him for his passport and he's exploiting the girls. So let's deal with this myth in this video, because for those who are uneducated about the current situation in most of Eastern Europe, so here I am in Warsaw on a beautiful early May evening in Poland. It ain't 1993 anymore, it is 2023. And the girls here are not trying to desperately flee. It's not some backward backwater being in Warsaw. It's actually pretty cool. So the era of the Westerner being a king in Eastern Europe is over, but you can still have a phenomenal time here if you have the right strategy and know what you're doing. And that's what we're gonna reveal in this video. Let's me.
Tsar Experience.
So what has changed in Eastern Europe since the collapse of communism in the late 80s, early 90s? Well, let's take Poland, for example. You can say the same about the Baltics, Latvia, Lithuania, and Estonia. They joined the European Union in 2004. That's almost 20 years ago, right? So they've been integrated into the West, we'll call it Western Europe, right? They became part of the European Union. And since then, their economies have continued to converge on the level of Western Europe. Now, they're still not at that level. It's not the same economic development, but it is getting closer and closer inexorably. And as a result, when they joined the European Union, well, they got more or less the same rights as German citizens, Irish citizens, at the time British citizens before Brexit, obviously. And as a result, they could leave, go work abroad, educate themselves abroad, and have the same access to opportunities as Western Europeans. And now, even if they stay in Poland, the salaries are getting closer and closer. What does that mean on the dating market? Let's think, in the late 90s, if a British guy or a French guy or German American came here, well, the girls, they couldn't even go travel to the West, right? They needed a visa. They were basically trapped here. Poland wasn't extreme as further east, say, for example, Ukraine or Russia, where really things imploded. I mean, men were dying young from alcoholism. It was really tragic, and they were desperate to escape. So this kind of stereotype of the Eastern European woman, desperate for a Western man to flee destitution, it's something from more than 20 years ago. It's not relevant to today, because the women, they basically don't need you or your foreign passport to leave most of Eastern Europe. Now, it might be a bit different in Russia, might be a bit different in the Caucasus, in Georgia, maybe somewhere in Central Asia, like Kazakhstan or Uzbekistan, but on the whole, countries like, obviously, Poland here, even Ukraine, because Ukrainians now, they basically have the same rights with their passport as most other Westerners, Moldova, all those countries come with your passport and nothing else. It's not going to be attractive to very many women, right? Maybe they'll gold digger if they suss out that you have cash and not much sense, then they're going to be interested. They're going to have a mark on you. But in general, most girls are not interested. And in fact, I would say most women in Eastern Europe don't want to leave Eastern Europe. I was recently invited into a chat group of a lot of these wife hunters on it, these kind of older guys who are searching for a wife through a marriage agency. Yeah, I've made enough videos about the folly of that approach. And some of them were pretty disparaging about the fact that, well, people like me move to Eastern Europe. They say, oh, it's so low status to live in Eastern Europe. They have this image from the early or mid-90s about how great America is versus a place like Poland or Ukraine. And it ain't so.
Dear sweet Mother of God, we're in Eastern Europe.
you could argue that for a lot of guys, especially those that make money online and can manage their revenues remotely, that actually the quality of life is going to be better here in Eastern Europe. Now, I should point out that Poland is technically Central Europe. We're in the eastern part of Central Europe. But what these guys don't get is things have changed. And what a lot of these guys also fail to recognize or don't want to deal with is that they are veterans of an era that no longer exists. Most of them have had the experience of coming 10, 15, 20 years ago to Eastern Europe. And women wanted them simply for their passport and automatic higher socioeconomic status. That is not the case nowadays. They don't need your passport, but that doesn't mean that they're not interested in a high-value, cool, foreign guy who comes, mixes in the right social circles, whether it's here in Warsaw, in Riga, in Latvia, Chisinau, Moldova, Kiev in Ukraine, Almaty in Kazakhstan. Those kind of guys can still excel. There's kind of a stereotype in, I think, in the West that Ukrainian girls, they're desperate to leave Ukraine and that they will just grab some kind of like foreign guy and become what I call a green card girl, which means they just see the guy, green card, America, and they just use him to get there. But what do you think? Do you think that Ukrainian girls today, they really want to leave Ukraine?
It depends on person.
Yeah.
It depends on person. Like, come on, I had like also I could say green card boy, but like I'm still here. Like I really love my city. It's so funny because I watched with my mom lately, actually, the video on YouTube, that Nikolaev city of brides, yeah?
Exactly, that's what I'm going to call this video.
Yeah, because actually a long time ago, all they was bringing here from all the villages, all the beautiful girls to marry some guys and so on. That's why kind of like they say it's like city of brides. So we watched the video and it was a hilarious video. It was like 10 years ago filmed. That some of Ukrainian girls they find in some
You can be honest. What kind of guys?
Yeah, like old guys, like American guys or something, and they come to Nikolaev and they like so dress up on the high heels and so on. It just looks so hilarious. I don't understand these people, and I don't know.
To be blunt, the girls in that video, I know it was 10 years ago, and things were a bit different 10 years ago. Ukrainians didn't have visa-free to Schengen.
Yeah.
The quality of life was probably not as high as it is today, or as being as interesting as being in Ukraine. But still, the girls in that video, they looked like they were from villages.
Yeah,
and they come in for the day dressed up, hoping to snab a man with land. In Ireland, we always joke that the country girls, they're always trying to figure out how much land the guy has, how much territoria. They kind of look like these girls, just
but
the Ukrainian village type. So I don't think those village girls are today even interested in some 70-year-old old guy from,
It depends on human, how a person was raised. It depends on everything. If maybe someone is desperate in life, of course they will try to find some maybe rich guy or some foreign guy. I think nowadays we have so much opportunities to travel, especially Ukraine is in Europe. Ukraine is Europe, but not Europe. So we can easily come to different countries. So I know it depends also on people.
I think for me, I see a big change. I would say that the American dream is not so attractive to Ukrainians like it was 7-8 years ago. I came with an American friend here, and he was living in Texas at the time. So the girls he used to say, yes, Texas, and they go, Texas, woo! And they were so interested in him.
Now you hear Texas and you're like, oh, Texas.
Well, yeah, that's basically the reaction. I think he's a little bit upset about the change because it used to be so relatively easy for him. These girls would be so interested in America, and now it's like, America. Ugh. They're not so
It depends on how a person is educated, I think. How you know much about world. I think traveling is very important. So maybe if you stay in one place and you don't know anything, for you it's oh yeah, foreign guys or something cool. But when you see around, travel around, you start to appreciate more things and I think it's nice.
So why do I love Eastern Europe so much if it's not like shooting fish in a barrel like it would have been 20, 30 years ago, or even 10 years ago, a little bit more than 10 years ago when I first came to this region? That's because this region is the one, in my experience, I've traveled basically everywhere which is famed for beauty, for female beauty. This is the best region in the world to meet beautiful women. Why? Because there's more of them here per capita. It's just like Eastern Europe, whether you're in Poland, whether you're in the Baltics, whether you're in Ukraine, Russia, Moldova, Kazakhstan, they're just full of beautiful women. But if it's not like shooting fish in a barrel, what are the effects of that? Well, the desperados, they're still gonna just search out, I guess, those little pockets where they think the women are basically desperate in a different way to them to flee. But what has happened over the last 10 years, especially with social media, and me probably learning a lot more about the culture here in Eastern Europe and also male to female dynamics, is that everything is rising towards the top. So if you are a guy who knows where to meet the hotties of Eastern Europe and actually knows how to demonstrate real value, not just your passport or your wallet. I mean, with your wallet, credit card, you can obviously attract gold diggers everywhere in the world. You don't even need to leave the US in order to find that. But if you're a guy who knows what he's doing, is able to demonstrate value, has all his stuff on point, you will do fantastically well in Eastern Europe once you pair that with the right social circle and culture knowledge, and if possible, the local language. Mahan, cocktail, potanish, беренис. Wow, okay. Я говорю по-казахски зараз. And that is basically what I've been helping my clients do on the Zara experience. Over the last year or so, with the Russo-Ukrainian war, I have not been bringing clients to Russia, Ukraine, or Belarus, but I have been in places like here in Warsaw, in Poland, having an unforgettable weekend with my clients. You will not be Billy Nomads. You will not be the kind of lame tourist, desperado, wife hunter tourist who shows up here 30 years too late to the party. You will not be some weird pickup artist trying all those cheesy lines on the street.
Hi there.
Hi.
How are you?
Good.
Good. I'm just here because you look fucking cool and I want to say hello.
Thank you.
Yes, I'm James.
Kate.
Kate?
That will get him close to nowhere. You're not going to be one of those guys who keep swiping right on Tinder, because in Tinder there's nothing really above a 7 that's going to go on Tinder, and the competition there is fierce because it's full of guys basically, right? So you need to be in the top 5% there. You are going to be with me, you're going to be with my crew, and what we're going to do over the weekend is combine nightlife with social circle, because in my experience with my clients, it is the best combination over a short period of time to meet lots of beautiful women, have an amazing time, make new friends here, local friends, and basically set yourself up for success to meet the 9s and 10s, the super beautiful Eastern Europe. And one of the reasons why I focus on the 9s and 10s, I started using that phrase a lot over the last, say, 6 months, is because I looked at the state of the manosphere or mano swamp, and I looked at other guys who give dating advice, or women who give dating advice for Eastern Europe in particular.
Let me explain cognitive dissonance. You have these guys on a pedestal. This is my hero. This guy is amazing, okay? I show you countless reasons why their game sucks, why they're scamming you, why they're ripping you off, etc. And then when you show like literal proof, here's the person he married. Busted trash. Okay? You guys think like, oh, but I thought Julian was cool, so therefore she must have like the best personality in the world. No, wrong. He just can't get fucking stunner chicks to go down a rotation. I've seen the funniest dumb shit in the comments. Oh, well, no one really wants a 9 or 10 anyways because they're a person. What? Get the fuck out of here. Okay, there's literally billions of women in the world. Okay, and to settle down with average trash when you're running around claiming to be the guru and creating products about how to bang 10s is fucking pathetic. Okay.
And there is such a gulf. I mean, these people, if you look at who any of these coaches married or in a long-term relationship with, we're talking about 2s, 3s, and 4s. Whilst my clients, many of them are dating models here in Eastern Europe in long-term relationships. Some of my clients also got married. And I just see the gulf in value between me and them. So I just want to emphasize that. This is the focus of the Zara experience. It is to meet model-level beauty here in Eastern Europe. Now, if that appeals to you, then down below is an application form for the Zara experience. But I screen everybody. It is not for everybody. Not everybody. If you're a wife hunter desperado, again, invest in a time machine, go back 30 years, maybe you still have a chance.
Can't be. This is nuts.
You will need to be the right kind of guy who's going to revel in this kind of experience. Now, before you go and fill out the application form, there are 2 playlists I want you to go and look at. They are the first one, giving over of the cities where I've been living this art experience. Also got some previous client testimonials there. And then the second one is my series of tutorials basically on how to date the 9s and 10s of Eastern Europe. So go check them out first. Also, if you really want to dig deep in this, then I have a playlist for my Vodka Vodcast. I have well over 100 video there explaining everything that you need to know about Eastern Europe. Even if you decided that you want to do it yourself, go watch all that content first. I also have Slavic Selection Secrets, my premium program. You can also invest in that if you want to do it yourself. It's down below in the description. So, if you're the type of guy who wants to come to Eastern Europe in 2023, it's going to be the summertime. I want to live it up in Almaty the Almighty in Kazakhstan was there with my clients. Fantastic place. Ridiculously hot Riga in Latva. Crazy Chisinau in Moldova, or here in Warsaw, Poland. Then down below is the application form. As Wayne Gretzky said, and I recently discovered he actually has Belarusian heritage. He missed 100% of the shots that you never take. Down below, I'm going to change my whole structure pretty soon. Probably at the beginning of the summer of 2023. I will not have it at the current price level anymore because I look at the Gulf and Class and how much these ridiculous matchmakers charge, these buffoonish pickup artists do all this streak pickup and day game, and they're complete losers. I have another video on that. You can go check that out and see why I have such a low opinion of them. And I see how much they charge, and I see the difference in the Gulf. So it will be just limited current structure, price structure. So go take your shot. It's down below the application form. And don't despair. It may not be like shooting fish in a barrel in 2023, but it still is, in my opinion, the best place in the world to meet the super beautiful women and have an amazing time, because quality of life here is also great. And the level of the places to go out with, also super cool. And I should comment that the local guys themselves have all raised their level. There's lots of super cool local guys as well to hang out with. And that's why the local girls aren't interested in a guy for his passport anymore. Anyways, on that, that's Zenia, and I'll see you in the next video. Ciao, ciao.
SAR Experience.